boys and girls, this is Miss Zepeda. Today I'm going to read you a story that my kindergarten teacher read to me when I was in kinder. The name of this book is Where the Wild Things Are. Story and pictures by Maurice Sendak. That means that Maurice Sendak is the author and the illustrator. He wrote this book and he drew the pictures. Okay, let's get started. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. And another. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew and grew and grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through the night and day. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars. Boys and girls, let me hear you roar. Roar. And gnash their terrible teeth. Boys and girls, let me see you gnash your terrible teeth. And roll their terrible eyes. Roll your eyes, boys and girls. And showed their terrible claws. Show your claws, boys and girls. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of all the wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. Do you smell that, boys and girls? Yummy! So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said no. The wild things roared their terrible roars. Let me hear you roar, boys and girls. Roar! And gnash their terrible teeth. Gnash those teeth, boys and girls. And roll their terrible eyes. Roll your eyes, boys and girls. And show their terrible claws. Show your claws, boys and girls. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. And into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. The end. All right, boys and girls. So now I have a question for you. If you were a wild thing, what would you look like? You can print out this paper or you can use any piece of paper at your house. And at the top or in this box here, I want you to draw what would you look like if you were a wild thing. Then there's some sentences here at the bottom that you can complete. My wild name would be blank. What would your wild thing name be? Then I would eat blank and blank. If you were a wild thing monster, what would you eat? And last, what's a wild thing that you would do? After you complete that, make sure you send your work to your teachers